So today I just wanted to talk about space, creating space for yourself as a mom, as a woman, as a neurodivergent person, any combination of those categories. One of the reasons I love living here in Portugal is there's so much beautiful nature. And I mean, actually getting to live on the beach just feels like the most amazing thing ever. I'm a mountain person, but I'm never going to complain about living at the beach because it's very, very healing. It's been very healing. Just having space, literal space for thinking and feeling. One of the delightful things about living at the ocean is how much things change at high tide and low tide. And I think one of my very favorites is seeing all the things that appear during low tide, which is like all these rocks. You can't see them at high tide. And also, you can walk around this corner at low tide, and it's totally covered in water at high tide. So I just thought it might be fun to show you like the whole view. This is where I live. You can see why I don't want to move back to the States, huh? So I love this beach. It goes all the way around. You can see over those buildings over there. It's just, you can walk and walk and walk if you want. I've only done it once, walked all the way there. It takes a bit more than an hour, but it's fabulous. So I love also going at low tide because I call this like walking between the worlds. There's just so many good reflections. So I just want to talk about the space that I have as a woman who is in the sandwich generation with my parents aging, my kids still needing support, and then like me going through like perimenopause symptoms. It's not a particularly easy time of life for me as a woman just in my 40s. So I wanted to talk about like what moving abroad could do for you. I'm still trying to figure out like where my head is so I don't cut it off. I want to talk about how I've sorted through some of the like really hard struggles about being abroad, like just namely being far away from my parents. And I'm sure that some of you deal with this even if you're living in the same country as your parents. You know, maybe they live in a place that isn't great for your kids, or, you know, and you're just not in the same state or whatever. I think for me at some point, especially we had to grapple with this after we'd been living abroad for several years, and my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I'm an only child. And so at that point I really felt like I needed to pick between my family, like my immediate family life, and my parents. And that's a horrible feeling. If you're struggling through that, like really wanting to show up for your loved ones, but also either really wanting to show up for your immediate family or just for yourself, right? And ultimately that's what it came down to for me. Yes, I believe that living in Europe is going to be a better life for my kids than going and moving to rural Florida and trying to help take care of my mom. Take care of her like on a daily basis. Again, these are excruciating subjects, and I don't want to, like, the choice that people make, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody for the choice that they're making, because I think it's just never as easy as we would like to believe. So anyway, Yeah, so for us, we had to weigh like we have this path here for like long-term life for our kids, for them to be able to live in Europe and for us to be able to live in Europe. And we really believe for our family that that's the best option right now. Um, Increasingly so since we left in 2019. The concerns that we had have just gotten more concerning, right? So anyway, so there's that element of it, but also there's the element of I have a lot of people depending on me. Um, Several of my children will live with me like until I'm dead. They have intellectual disabilities, so like I'm not. There's not going to be this moment where nobody's depending on me anymore. And so that actually like sped up the process of me realizing like I need to choose myself here. I need to choose what is going to be best for me so that I can care for the people that I love. And just because like I deserve to have a life. It's okay. I think that's really hard for women to admit sometimes, especially women who have been in like high control churches or really any churches sometimes. It like there's this like pressure to sacrifice ourselves. And um, obviously, sacrifice can be a beautiful thing, but it doesn't have to be your whole existence. And I think that that's the conclusion that I've come to just for myself is that I need to be okay because this is my life, and I don't want to get to the end of my life and regret that I didn't uh, do the things that were on my heart to do, like live abroad. And also, I just have so much more emotional and mental space here than I did in the States. And so it's been very interesting to observe like how much more I'm able to be, like I have capacity, emotional capacity, and mental capacity to support and think through things like for my parents or and to just keep in touch with them better than I did when I was in the States. I felt frenetic there. I felt stressed and frenetic, and life just felt like not a good fit for me and my neurodivergent of some sort brain. And so, like, I just feel my nervous system is much calmer here. When life gets to be a lot, as it does, we have high needs kids, not just a couple. And so, when life is a lot, like, I come here to this beautiful place to regulate myself. So, like, choosing those things for me has felt selfish, and yet it's allowed me to support friends when they're going through really hard stuff too, or it's allowed me uh, to have the space to like bring my mom here for a month and live with us. Okay, just because I'm me, I managed to like do a whole recording just now, sitting with my head cut off.